The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
What is up? This is Byte the Robot again. We're restarting because the last time I tried to do this, well, it was a little bit scuffed. So we're going for it again. Just like before, we are playing Elden Ring, one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I mean, let's just get into it and I'll just start talking to it through as we go. So, just like before, we're just gonna go through and fight this first boss. It is a grafted scion. Typical From Software fashion, you are supposed to lose this fight. However, I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn, y'all, so we're actually gonna try and beat him. even though all we have right now is a mankini and a club. So without further ado, let's do it. Okay. Jumping attacks will build up its stagger quite a bit. You can also roll through certain attacks, but it's better to actually do some spacing. Otherwise that happens. Yeah, so you can go through certain attacks, but we unfortunately lose this fight. And we are thrown down a hole. Where we will meet a very important person. And maybe a friend. Who knows?
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
Wakey, wakey. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. Sorry, I made the same kind of joke the last time I did this too. Okay, and we get a couple of very crucial items. The Flask of Cerulean Tears and the Flask of Crimson Tears. The crimson ones are used to heal your HP. The blue ones are used to heal your FP, which is that blue bar in the upper left corner of the screen. Now, down here is a tutorial where you can learn all of the controls of the game. We're not going to go down there because I'm just going to walk you through as we go. But know that if you play on your own, you can just go down there yourself and do it. Now, I've chosen the Wretch class because it actually gives me a little bit more versatility with my build. I know that there's more optimal ways to set up a min-max if you want to, but I'm not going to do it for this playthrough. We also chose a stone sword key so we can unlock this right here. And the reason why is because we're going to return later and go get a couple of items that will be very beneficial to our journey. Not right now, though. Right now, it would be like pulling teeth. Now, when one of my buddies actually first watched this stream, they said that my dude looks like he's wearing a pair of manties, so you know who you are. You know who you are. So this character's name is Manties. Alright. Time for a beautiful shot. This gets me every time. It's so pretty. Sort of like that moment from Breath of the Wild when you first exit the cave. It's very much like that. And as we exit, we also run into this guy. What up?
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
Rude.
Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
Oh, am I now?
Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, a path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave.
Now, he did mention a very useful mechanic there, actually. You could tell that a site of grace is nearby if you see these golden trails. So, pretty much just like he said, you want to keep an eye out for these.
Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly, to Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted.
Okay, so I will confess, what he says there is a little bit of a debate, because if you try going to Stormvale right now, especially as, you know, naked as we are, you're most likely gonna die. So, we're not gonna do that. I'm instead gonna show you a route that I usually like to take in this game to try and set us up pretty good. It will get us an upgraded weapon fairly early, and it will also get us some fairly nice things along the way, including some buffs and some things we're gonna use for our journey. But for right now, let's see if he has anything else to say. Got anything more for me, Vare?
It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where grace would guide you, if you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are.
Yeah, alright, I get it. You don't want to look at my naked ass anymore. Fine. Off I go. So yeah, we are gonna do this route. And you're gonna see this guy roaming around, but don't pick a fight with him. Just let him chill. Just vibe. Have a good day, sir. And we're gonna run up here. There are some runes on this post in front that we want to grab. These are what I call hard runes. No, actually they're soft runes because you can hold on to them and you won't lose them. But that will be used as our currency and as our experience going forward, so keep that in mind. We're also going to tag every site of grace that we find because they basically act as a checkpoint and they act as a means to replenish our flasks or change them around. You'll see. So now we run up this way. One thing I should probably mention about this game is that enemies in this game are exceedingly rude, and they will try and chase you to the ends of the earth. For now, we're going to grab these kukri. Nice try. And we're going to keep going. Also, pay attention to this right here. That's called a Stake of America. They are basically like a checkpoint within a smaller checkpoint system. If you die, you'll go back to one of those if you're near one. You can check and see if you're near one based on this icon in the upper left under our green bar. Now, we're also going to run over here because there is an item below here that will allow us to apply Ashes of War to our weapons. Ashes of War are sort of like battle skills. You can activate them using the L2 trigger, which I think you saw me do earlier by accident because I slipped up it when I pressed the button, so I used my Warcry skill a bit early, or Barbaric Roar. You can see the name of the equipped skill in the left-hand side of the screen. Here is Grace that we're going to tag because it's handy. We pissed off all those Godric soldiers, so good night. And then it's time for a familiar face. Ayo, who you?
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord.
Ayo, you gonna give me a car? But we just met.
Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless.
Man, why you all gotta point that out?
I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring.
Ooh.
Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Yeah, I will. And you're going to see actually real quick that Torrent will be our bestie for most of the game. And as she said, he's going to help us get across great distances pretty quick. So we're going to actually equip him. I like to put him here on the pouch. You can access it by pressing the start button on your controller. I am playing on PS5, by the way. And what you must do is equip using triangle spectral steed whistle. This is a delicate ring. But it will summon a spectral steed. So once you have it equipped, you can actually access your pouch menu by pressing and holding triangle, and then hitting one of the directional buttons to actually use an item from it. So in this case, we put Torrent and the right. Yeah. So if I push it, we climb aboard Torrent. And he's going to be our best friend for the whole playthrough. Alright. Now that we've done that, we're going to actually go take a quick detour back to the Church of Ella before we proceed. And since we're looking at the map, take notice of this right here, that weird little glowy gravestone looking thing. Those are where map fragments are, and we're going to want to swing by and pick those up on the way. But for now, let's hit up the Church of Ella.
This way, tarnished. May I have a word?
You can have several words, girl. What you want?
A
pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk I surmise is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent.
Yeah, I can do that.
As I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee by Torrent's former master.
All right.
'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the Tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
Well, later. So what she gave us there was a spirit calling bell. This will actually allow you to summon spirits to help you fight, just like she said. We're going to put it on our pouch as well. Now here's the weird thing about this item. You don't actually equip the bell itself. What you do equip are the ashes, which will be the thing you actually summon. So in this case, she gave us the Lone Wolf ashes, which we're going to equip. And I'm going to show you how this works while we go and grab the map fragment. We're going to head back right to where we were. Sorry. Sorry, I have to stretch. There we go. All right. Now then, as we approach, you're going to see on the left-hand side of the screen that sort of gravestone looking symbol. If you see that, you'll be able... Not that. Excuse me. But if you see that, you'll be able to summon spirits like so. And you'll notice that it actually also used some FP. Not all of them do. Some of them actually use HP instead, but we'll get into that when it becomes relevant. You can also track to see how healthy your spirit summons are on the left where you formerly saw the gravestone. And just like Renna said, they're going to help us in battle. So, let's demonstrate. I'm just going to run and grab the map fragment though. Right there. And you're going to see over there, they're actually giving us a hand. Now, until we get food, until we get the weapon of choice for the playthrough, we're going to be using a lot of jumping attacks. This is because the jumping attack actually gives you better stagger. You'll see in a moment. Ooh. Now, killing everyone here ain't a requirement, but... here we go. So when you get to stagger some enemies, you'll be able to perform a critical attack. That's really what I wanted to demonstrate. We're not going to fight here today. I just wanted to show off how the spirit summons work and how staggers work. Just for now. It'll come into play later. Alright. Now we're going to tag the brace. And what you're going to notice is that this guy up here is going to Kool-Aid down and try to ruin our day. But we don't care about him. He can do whatever he wants. He can live his best life. There you go. Good day, sir. Do not mind me. You'll also notice that these horny boys here. Oh, is he not going to do it? Oh, he's doing it. So those boys blowing the horn there are actually going to call more enemies. to go and congregate around him. It's how they sort of trap you with a bunch of enemies. Bye, dogs. Alright. Gonna rest at the Grace again. Because we want to reset enemy positions. It's pretty generally recommended that you rest at Graces when you catch them. Because, as I said, it reset enemy positions and it heals you for free while refilling your flasks. So, do that. Alright. Gonna grab a stone sword key and we have another friend in this shack.
Everyone's been grafted. Everyone who came with me. They crossed the sea for me. They fought for me. Only to have their arms taken. Their legs taken. Even their heads taken. Taken and stuck to the spider. Did you know? If you're grafted by the spider, you become a chrysalid. It's quite a lark when you think about it.
I'm sorry, but sometimes when I listen to her talk, her voice makes me laugh a little. But yeah, what she's referring to is the grafted scions and a certain Godric that we're going to go ruin the day of eventually. Not right now, but eventually.
You're all on your own, are you? And heading to Stormvale Castle? Enticed by the one in the white mask, I suppose. Oh, you've come to be one with the spider? Well, that makes us two peas in a pod. But I don't have your courage. It's scary, you know, having your arms cut off, or legs, or your head. I want to be like everyone else, but I'm just too scared. I'm nothing but a craven.
I'm nothing but a craven? Nah, you're alright. You're alright. It's reasonable to be scared of getting hacked apart.
Oh, I know. Can you take this little one along with you?
Yeah, alright. I'll take him with me.
The poor thing deserves someone braver than myself. And the spirits look rather fondly upon you. It'll be glad of your company, I think, the little un.
Well, thank you.
It was a pleasure to see you. Oh, can you pass on a message for me? If you see the little chrysalids in Stormvale Castle, tell them I love them. And that, despite my craven heart, I'm sure I'll be joining their club soon enough. I'm finally getting the hang of this whole pain thing, you know?
Yeah, this is the consequence of playing From Software games. Get accustomed to the pain eventually. Anyway, we're not going to go to Stormvale just yet because we have stuff to grab. If you go this way from the shack, you'll actually see the first thing we're going to grab. It's in this little ring of chairs. It's more smithing stones. Which I should actually probably explain. Smithing stones are the upgrade materials used in your weapons, if the name didn't give it away already. But, just thought I'd say it for completeness. Another thing we're going to keep an eye out for are these graveyards. Graveyards provide runes that will help us with everything. Although, when you encounter a graveyard, you gotta be careful. Because a lot of them have enemies or traps near them that will probably ruin your day if you get too close. Alright. So, I've been playing From Software games for a very long time, and I really love all of them. Elden Ring is probably my third or fourth favorite FromSoft game ever in existence. At least in the Soulsborne series. I also really like Armored Core, but we'll get to that when we get to it. My actual favorite FromSoft game would actually be Bloodborne. And maybe one day on the channel we'll play it. We'll see. Alright, so what we want to do now is break this statue. How to do that? Well, you make a giant mad. Oh, come on. once he's mad, we're going to have him chase us over here. He's going to break the statue. And we're going to grab what's inside. Statues usually hide good stuff in them, so it's worthwhile to break all of the ones you can find if you can figure it out. Because a lot of them are pretty unclear. Okay. This is another spot that I like to grab just before we head on our way. This is the War Master Shack. It has an NPC in there that will sell us Ashes of War. We're not going to talk to him yet because we don't need him yet. Instead, we're going to go on our way. So one thing that we're also going to be on the lookout for as we go are little glowing skulls on the ground. Those skulls will provide us with more runes to use. I didn't have to grab that, but it's nice to have for later. Boosts your attack by a little bit if you eat it. And up ahead, we're gonna meet a friend.
Hello? Can you hear me? Help me. I'm stuck. Hello? Hello? Anyone?
Help me, Stepjar, I'm stuck.
Oh, my stars. I'm so happy to see you. I am Alexander, also known as the Iron Fist. And as you can see, I'm stuck here. Please, can you help me out of this?
Yeah, I can help.
My thanks. 1,000 thanks. Just give me a good smack from the rear with something nice and big. And I'll pop clean out, I'm sure. Don't dally. No, there's no need to fret. I'm very well trained. Give it your all, I say.
Suddenly I regret making the Stepjar joke. Alright, let's see now. Now all you have to do are a couple of charged R2s to his back, so... there we go. And yeah, when you do R2s, you can choose to just do the regular one, like that, or you can choose to charge it for more damage. Generally not recommended unless you have enough ample time to do it with. Alright. I got you out the hole.
Well played, good sir. Well played. Though that mighty wallop of yours almost spelled the end of me. Well,
Man, I love
I'm
Alexander.
out now, and that's what counts. I thank you. And as a token of my appreciation, I'd like you to have this.
Nice, thanks, bro.
Once again, pleasure is mine. I am the warrior Jar known as Alexander. Iron Fist Alexander, in fact. I journey to the east, where I intend to further my education in the ways of war. And beyond these lands
Sorry,
lie
had
the
yawn.
scarlet, rot-blighted Kaled wilds. And upon their southern edge is Redmane Castle, in which a festival of combat is being held. I'd heard whispers of such festivities before. Doesn't the notion set your breast aflutter?
Yeah, it kind of does when you put it that way.
I'm heading eastward to Redmane Castle, on the southern edge of the scarlet, rot-blighted Kaled wilds. I've heard there's to be a festival held there.
Nice. Well, you take care, Alexander. Also, I realized pretty early on in that conversation that I gave away his name before he could introduce himself, so shame on me. Anyway, off we go. So we're going to first hit up a few areas that have more upgrade materials, and we're also just going to be doing a lot of collecting, so yeah. Ooh, also, we picked up a golden seed earlier, so might as well explain this. In the grace menu, you have this flasks option. You can add charges to your flasks to make sure that... Make sure? Oh my god, sorry, I'm misspeaking a lot. it's to make sure that you have more charges of your flask to use, and you need golden seeds to do that. If we had sacred tears, we could upgrade the amount that it heals. We don't have any right now, but you'll see where we pick them up later. And you can also allocate how much you have right here. We're just going to go all into red because we got nothing worth using that blue on. Gotta have our red Kool-Aid more than the blue one. I'm sorry. My jokes are stupid sometimes. Alright, we're gonna nab the smithing stone. Ride past. And we are gonna pass by a D. No, really, that's his name. We're going to learn that later when we actually go to the round table hold, but his name is D. And depending on how you go, he can be a bro or not. He's not really a bro to me, though. Nah. Okay. We do want this site of grace, actually, because it leads into Caelid proper over here from Summon Water. But we're not going to go there just yet. At least not from this route. What we will do is head across the lake. And what I should have done is actually make sure that it was morning before I did this, because there are some enemies that are exclusive to nighttime that are pretty.
You there? Could you help us out, Cully?
Rude. Interrupted me like that. Anyway, so yeah, there are enemies exclusive to nighttime that can really ruin your day if you let them. So, like this guy. The Knights Cavalry always travel at night. Shocker, I know, but we're gonna ignore it because he doesn't drop anything we need right now. He will chase you for a very long time, though, so this is why I should have changed to morning. Most likely he will kill us, but if we let him catch up. Oh my god, I can't talk right now. Please excuse me. Alright. So, you'll notice that we passed up something called the Waypoint Ruins. That's because there's actually a graveyard back here guarded by wolves. Something handy to keep in mind. But it's also good to mark this spot for later because we're going to come back here for someone very important in the ruins. And our goal for the time being is to actually make our way to Castle Morn. That area has a lot of upgrade materials that we need, and it has some other items that we can probably use in this playthrough. So let's do that. Tag the grace. Fun fact, you don't actually need to rest at the grace for it to count on your map. Alright. And now what we're going to do is try and get across this bridge. Now, there are two ways to do this. Both of them kind of risky, but you can choose to go across fighting, or you can try and do the YOLO way. I'm going to do the YOLO way because it's more fun. Yeah. That was actually really good luck. Oh my god. That usually hits me. Anyway. Off we go. Tag another grace. I should mention that you actually have to get off of Torrent to tag graces, so you can't just run over them. Although that'd be pretty funny to tag a grace by running over it with your horse.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander.
Alright. Tell me more.
I fear for father's life. The servants are full wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father? At the castle, my soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe.
Yeah, I could deliver your letter.
Dearly. Then please, take this. Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please.
Yeah, alright, I can do that. So, we are headed to Castle Morn anyway. We don't actually have to do this side quest, but I like doing it for one reason. Irina's dad drops a halberd that's already kinda pre-upgraded. We'll see how to get it later, but for right now, time for some shameless looting. We also want to grab this here. That is a weapon that will come to use when we need to get a huge spike in rune gain that I will demonstrate later. Oh my god. I feel like I'm saying we'll do things later a lot. You're going to have to forgive me on that. But a lot of stuff really does happen later. It's also worth noting that if you see these fires anywhere on the map, you're probably going to run into a merchant, and those merchants usually sell good stuff, so I don't need to talk to them right now, but just keep that in mind. Also, I'm going to show you something cool, because in this game, you can access something called Spirit Springs. And Spirit Springs allow Torrent to jump good. Y'all ever watch Samurai Jack and they did the whole jump good episode? Yeah, it's like that. We came up here for a turtle shell. This turtle shell shield we can't actually use right now. Well, not fully. But it does offer some passive stamina regeneration, which is exactly what we need. So right now, you can see on the top left underneath my green bar, there's no icon. Nothing's happening, nothing's affecting us. But if I put this on, see that little icon there? That's a signifier that we are currently getting a lot of Oh my god, y'all, I'm so sorry. I can't talk today for some reason. Alright, no. So what that symbol means is that we're getting better stamina regeneration. And we're going to jump back down. Scared you for a second, didn't I? Well, as it turns out, if you have a Spirit Spring, you can go up or down on it. And you will not take falling damage. You tried to do that. If you tried to do that normally, you'd probably die. But with Torrent, you can actually just hop on down. Castle Morn's a little bit annoying to navigate, but gotta do it. And also beware of the golem sniper. I usually like to ride off to the left when you're approaching him so that he hits this instead of you. But he usually tags me when I ride past, so that was lucky. He usually actually hits me here. At least once. Probably my luck from stream. Now then. This right here, if you see that little blue line, shows you that you are entering a legacy dungeon and cannot write Torrent anymore. So, just bear that in mind. In these legacy dungeons, Torrent becomes unavailable. Another thing that I should mention is that we're going to be using the Claymore for this playthrough. It's a nice weapon with a lot of solid poking attacks, which will come in handy later. Also, I just like how it looks. Now then, I also like activating these again to send it back down in case we die. Because if we do die, we're going to need it. And I don't want to feel like, and I don't want to wait. Alright. Here's the annoying part. Hi, dogs. Now, thankfully, we have our own dogs that I can summon to distract the enemies, which I'm going to do now. So they're going to pull the aggro while I run. It's nice and handy to have. And these guys have some pretty deceptive range, so gotta keep moving when you see them. Alright. Yeah, like that. We died. At least you know what it looks like now when we die. Excuse me. A little bit sleepy. Okay. So, when you die, and let me move over a little bit so you can see it, but that number in the bottom right is our rune count. When you die, you lose all of them, and it gets deposited into this little herb tree looking thing. I'm not going to go grab it right now because it's in kind of a bad spot, but just know that if you lose all your runes, you have to go back and nab the little herb tree looking thing. Otherwise, you're just SOL and you lose all your runes. So don't lose all your runes. PSA from Byte the Robot. Alright. Gonna continue running. Bad luck there. Usually he doesn't follow that far. Oh my god, he's persistent. Alright. We're gonna climb up. And there's gonna be another one ready to ambush us when we hit the top of the ladder, so just be ready. I personally like to roll past him because I don't feel like dealing with him. Like that. And there's gonna be two more up here that'll start shooting bows at us, which is annoying. Like that. But we're gonna go talk to Irina's father because he is just past this little boogaloo happening over here. We're gonna ignore everyone. Have a good day. And here's Edgar.
There's a face I've not seen before. I'm Edgar, warden of this castle, as ordained by Lord Godric himself. But you can see how things have turned out. The menials have all rebelled. They gave me good service, or so I thought. But it seems it was all an act. Foul creatures, as it said, and true enough, they're foul inside and out. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but whatever you come here to do, I'm afraid Castle Morn won't hold much longer. Take this by way of apology.
Thanks, but I got a letter to deliver for from Irina.
I see. From Irina. Thank you. I mean, you're dead, but I can't leave yet. Even if the castle should fall, as commander, I must remain to ensure the treasured sword of Morn does not fall into the wrong hands.
Ayo, I don't think your daughter is gonna like that, dude.
If you see Irina, do tell her that her father will come for her once he's fulfilled his duty.
Well, what if your duty is duty, my guy? Sorry, I'm a little immature sometimes. Anyway. All the Godric soldiers have been killed, so we gotta be... I was going to say we got to be careful, but you saw. There's a few more items we got to pick up here, so we're going to run through again. This isn't a really good showcasing of my skills, but I don't got skills. So, yeah, like I was saying earlier, I really love From Software games. Been playing them a long time. And this one in recent memory has me so hyped because when Shadow of the Erdtree comes out, that's just going to be an awesome time. I also really like Sekiro, but that's one of those ones where I played it once and then haven't played it since after beating it. The DLC was really, really good. This dude's persistent. Yeah, the tracking on some of the attacks can be a little bit much, but I should have rolled through that instead of trying to weave. Man, cut my weave, man. Cut my weave off. Whoa. I've actually never seen him follow me this far. It's okay. Just a little bust. That's alright. We're good now. Ow. Rude. Sometimes enemy attacks can still tag you as you're resting, so just gotta be on the lookout for that when it happens. We also want to grab this, but if you stand there for too long, that blob would have fallen on your head. There's a talisman up there. We're not going to grab it because it's not important. Because all it does is increase the damage of the final attack in your combo. Which every weapon in this game has a combination attack that it can do. And that combination attack has a certain number of strikes in it. Obviously. But yeah, so in the club's case, it would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that last hit is what that talisman would have boosted. It's really good actually for... Oh. I jumped from too high. That's okay. I just needed to get down here to get rid of the rat. Not get rid of the rats. Sorry guys, I'm sleepy. I'm not really sure why I can't talk right now, but you're gonna have to forgive me, please. Please. Alright. Moving on. There is an item over here that is important to our journey. Ooh, that is bad luck. It usually doesn't get me with that. That's my luck on stream though, isn't it? I'm gonna get hit by all the stuff that I can usually avoid pretty well, and I'm not gonna be able to avoid much. This is a giant enemy crab. Yeah, like I said, a lot of these guys in here have very deceptive range, so just be aware of the fact that I might get hit a lot. You also know that there is an item around back here. Y'all are just in the most inconvenient spots today, aren't you? Ooh. Alright, alright. I see you. So one of the techniques that I like to employ sometimes if enemies are just being butts is the quit out tech. Putting out basically makes it so that all enemy positions are reset. And once we do that, we'll be able to access the ladder safely, or better yet, we're done here. We got everything we need, so... Oh yeah, also, if you see this little icon on the map in case you forgot where your runes dropped the last time you died, that little tree icon right there will tell you. Alright, so we're done here. We're gonna move on. Gotta go back to Stormhill Shack for this one. Because, like I was saying earlier, if you go to Stormvale Castle now, you're probably gonna get your butt kicked. but oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah. There is an alternative route you can take that will take you to one of my honestly favorite areas in any video game ever. And instead of taking the road up that way, which will take you to Stormvale, we're going to go underneath this archway, which conceals another road. And following this road all the way up will take us all the way to Liurnia of the Lakes. And Liurnia of the Lakes is basically the water / magic level of this game, which I love the aesthetic of. We're going to pass through a furry convention on the way there. And you're going to see that there are a bunch of rude wolves just sort of vibing in here. And that squirrel. Get out of here, squirrel. I thought it would be really funny, actually, if the squirrel could distract the wolves, but nah. They're not that dumb. Gif in peace. Oh. I also missed the skull there. But there was a skull with glowing eyes that was on the ground, and I missed it. Shame. That would have been extra runes for us to use for later, but it's okay. Alright. Ayo, what do you want?
Forgive me. I've been testing you to determine if the Elden Ring would truly have you. If you had the mettle to endure this long and arduous path. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Round Table Hold, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace.
Nah, not yet. We're going to do that later, though, when we actually have ourselves set up decently well. If you're a first-time player, I would actually recommend going to the Round Table Hold right away, but we're not doing it this time. So that's our first sacred tier. Like I told you earlier, and like you saw in the description, it'll increase the amount your flasks actually heal you. So we're also going to grab some magic over here in the form of the Academy Scroll. Scrolls will be given to tutor. I almost said tutor and teacher in the same word. But these scrolls will be given to teachers who will teach us magic and will give us more capabilities to use magic later on down the road. Speaking of down the road, these little camps here usually have some good stuff in them if you want to fight through it. I do not. So instead I'm just going to grab that because it'll let us craft an item later. And what we're going to do is tag this Grace. And we're going to grab another map fragment because it's actually rather close by. There are two ways you can do this. One of them is a sort of YOLO way where you just jump in the middle of all these revenants. Or there's another way that's a safer way. I'm going to try the YOLO way for entertainment purposes. YOLO way? YOLO way! Yep. YOLO way worked. Yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But when it works, it works. And I guess technically it didn't even work because you can actually grab map fragments from behind the obelisk thing that they sit next to. And there are guys shooting magic at us from range. There is a revenant that just ruined our day. So we're gonna sit it close. Ah. There we go. So what we're going to do is actually hit the Laskyar ruins for more upgrade materials, and we're also going to use this portal. Fun fact about revenants. You can actually hurt them with healing magic. We don't have any healing magic, so we can't hurt them yet. At least not efficiently. What we wanted was to do it so we can get here. This is the front of the Academy of Rea Lucaria. What you're going to notice is when we try to go in, we cannot. We need a glintstone key. Now you might be asking, Byte, you naked robot, how are we going to get a glintstone key? Well, this body here has a hint that'll, well, kind of tell you where the key is actually. So, if we go over to it, you'll see the meeting place map. Now, when we actually unlock the entire map of the area, that spot on the map, the blue one, is going to come very, very familiar to you, or it's going to look familiar. So, just keep that in mind. But for right now, we got more upgrade materials to grab, baby. This route that I take, by the way, is usually a lot faster when I'm not commentating, but I wanted to share it with y'all today because I think it's fun. And it gives you a reasonably strong weapon fairly quickly. So, as we're traversing through though, I just gotta say I love the ambience of Rea Lucaria. This place is actually really haunting and kind of cool. As weird as it sounds, it kind of gives me like OG Demon Souls vibes, if you guys have ever played Demon Souls. Sort of like Latria, Tower of Latria vibes, almost. But it might just be all the seafood walking around. Okay. Somewhere on the outskirts here is another map fragment and a grace. Yeah. Right there. And on the other side, map fragment. Now, what I like doing from here actually is, if you pay attention to the map, you'll see these little hexagon looking things. That is where these gazebos are. Gazebos have either graces in them, upgrade materials, or lovable people. You'll see. Also, you can only put up to 5 markers on there. If I tried putting any more, then it would just override the last one that I put. So we're not going to do that. And instead, we're just now going to start writing on torrent to each one of the markers that we placed on the map. You'll also see that you can actually see them in gameplay too, as these like blue pillars of light on the horizon. So you have a pretty good indication of where you're going at all times. And we're about to witness one of the funniest enemies in this game. That's a lobster. Lobsters have played a lot of Call of Duty in this game, and they have the capacity to just ruin your day. They have what I call the 360 no-scope attack, which, you might see here. So, yep, ooh, that's the 360 no-scope. Those things can tag you from so far away. It's not even funny. Well, yes it is. It's very funny when it happens. Another enemy we gotta be aware of here are the land squirts. These weird looking heart things on the ground. These guys. They spit poison everywhere. We don't like poison, so we're gonna try and not involve ourselves with them very much. If we can avoid it. Which in that case we couldn't. Alright. So now what we're gonna do is continue tagging all of the places I marked, which will give us everything we need and more. Another fun part about this route that I should say is that you get to see all of the areas in the game fairly early if you take this route that I'm doing, because you can get yourself a decently upgraded weapon without fighting anything at all for a very long time. And frankly, if you're newer and starting out, that's a huge benefit. And that's actually why they have the boss of Stormvale where he is, because, or the first boss of Stormvale, not the actual Lord. It's to encourage you to go out and explore the world first before you try and take them on, because if you try and take them on as you are at the beginning of the game, the chances are you're probably going to get rocked. Just some classic From Software design. There are also two tiny crabs there that are just chilling out. And not only can we upgrade our flask a little bit, we can also tag more areas on the map, because we ain't done. Gotta grab this one. And we gotta grab this one. And there are two other places on the map we gotta tag, but this one is the more important of the two for now. There's another one up here that we're gonna go to, but not yet. Because what those red circle things on the map are mines. Mines have a lot of resources in them that we need. Namely, as you could probably guess, a lot of smithing stones. I'm quite sleepy today, oh my god. It's alright though. It's alright. If we sleepy, that just means that we're doing something right. Right? That's right. Anyway. This area and its ambience always make me so happy. I'm not even really sure why. Ooh, also, these are flowers that spew poison. As you can see right there. If possible, we should try and avoid them. In this game, they're called Miranda flowers, which, I'm sorry if your name is Miranda and you're watching this, apparently From Software is calling you poisonous. Okay. A few more gazebos to go, but I'm hoping this is one with a way gate in it. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So the ones with the way gates in them actually are very convenient in this area, considering that Liurnia of the Lakes is quite a big area. So we're gonna grab that, and there is a grace directly behind it. There's someone important that we're gonna need to go to later in this area, just passed up that way. Not yet though. We don't gotta go there yet. So what we're gonna do instead is visit more gazebos. It's almost like a Protoss thing, isn't it? You've not enough gazebos. The lore of this place is really fascinating too, I find, because, well, I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but needless to say, there's a lot of players who come from here that, or big players in the story that come from here that are worth mentioning. Alright. Oh, we got 360 no scoped by a sleepy lobster. Oh my god. Lobsters are funny in this game. It's probably karma for all the seafood that I eat. That's a cool thing about a commercial robot frame, by the way, is that I'm able to actually eat food. Might not look like it from how my face looks, but I can absolutely eat food. Yes, yes. And I do think that me dying there was karma for how much lobster I eat. That makes me sound really pretentious, doesn't it? Anyway. As we go on, we have our upgrade material. And what I'm also going to want to do is show you one of my favorite enemies in the game, because he's adorable. This is a land octopus. I don't know why, but I think there's something really cute about this enemy. He's a ball of squid with a beak and two big dangly arms. I cannot explain to you why I think this enemy is cute. I just think it is, for some weird reason. Okay. Now, this is a grace that we want to tag for later. Because once we finish Morn Castle proper, someone's going to show up there. And not that we need his weapon, actually. Now that I think about it, with this route, we don't need his weapon at all. But we'll show you I'll show you anyway for content. Why not? It's a follow-up to a story that we started. Okay, now we're going to go hit up the mine. This mine is a little tricky to navigate, but the rewards inside are worthwhile, so we're going to hit it up.
Lanya. It's me, Dialos. Answer me, would you?
You alright, bro?
Who on earth are you? Never mind. But tell me if you know, would you? The whereabouts of the hidden house of those despicable fiends. The recusants who hunt their fellow tarnished. They laid hands upon my servant Lanya, and I refuse to let the insult stand. The tale of House Hoslow is told in blood. I, Dialos, swear to deliver the message.
Yeah, if I figure out where these recusants live, I'll probably let you know.
They laid hands upon my servant. The tale of House I, Dialos.
Yeah, If I skip over some of the dialogue after it again, it's just because NPCs sometimes reiterate the thing they just said, but in shorter form. It's actually kind of nice that they have that feature instead of making me go through the entire dialogue again. One thing that I appreciate about From Software's design. The ride over to this next mine is actually quite long, but that's alright. Every time I get to have the ability to just soak up the ambience here is just... whew, it's so nice. We're also going to see another enemy that I love looking at, but... yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. You'll hear him before you see him. Tolling of the bell. It tolls from me. Alright. So that over there is a walking mausoleum. Walking mausoleums will become important later when we actually have boss rooms that we can get. Reason why is because they have a crypt in them that lets you copy boss rooms. So if you wanted to get 2 of the same kind of like boss weapon or item, you can get it with one of those guys. Just something to keep in mind. And as we descend the mine, I'm going to send the elevator back up, which I probably shouldn't have done, but force of habit at this point. And we are going to just run past these guys. Now, they are a little bit on the tough side for us right now. Because, oh, come on. They are resistant to all forms of, they are resistant to most forms of damage. And bludgeoning damage is actually how you take these guys down. Or backstabbing. You're gonna see me backstab a few of these miners as we progress down this cave. Oh my god. Yeah, you're going to actually see me backstab quite a few of them, and that's just because it cancels out their spell casting animation, which is handy. Because some of them have a ranged attack that, if you're not prepared for, can be kind of annoying. But you're going to see what that looks like here in a sec, because, yeah, these guys. I like to backstab them just because it gives me a little bit of time to run in and grab things without being casted at. They also have a glintstone pebble attack that can get kind of annoying. It sends like blue bolts of energy at you. Yeah, that attack. Oh, Lord almighty. I forgot to mention that there were 2 of them in here. Whoops. Alright. But yeah, there are 2 of them in there, so when we run past them, it's generally a good idea to backstab them so it buys you time. You don't have to kill. You just need to buy time. And these basic dudes you can just run past, because most of their attacks are melee range. And as we're running through here again, you're going to see where the other one is, maybe. Okay, we already grabbed everything. Oh my god. I'm not on point today, guys. I'm sorry. Must be just because I'm sleepy. But that was almost comedic in its timing. Oh yeah, I should also say, you can also get more upgrade materials in here if you cross these platforms, but you gotta be careful, or that happens. That's alright. We'll get more than enough upgrade material. I just wanted to show that you could do this. Nah, I'm stubborn. I want to do the whole thing right, so let's just do it. Alright. So we're gonna go do it again, but this time I'm gonna try not to fall. Yeah, by the way, this is the rune Erd tree that I was talking about earlier. When you die, it gets deposited in there, so yeah, with these ones you can get with just a regular jump. This one's a bit more tricky. You have to get a running jump. How do you do that? Well, I like to start running against the wall, hold circle, build up momentum, and then jump. This one's kind of the same way. You have to just build up momentum a bit first and then jump, like that. And then you could do the same to get back onto the main platform. That's how you're supposed to do it. I'm just dumb. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is just get out of here. We're gonna get out of Dodge. And oop. Sometimes these guys are pretty persistent, so they'll try and jump onto the platform with you. This guy. That's okay. Send it back up. Oh, later, dude. And off we go. I love it when I love doing that. It's so funny. When there's just an enemy on a lift and then you just send it back up. Be very careful not to fall off of this. There's more mages here, so you know the drill. It's okay if we die here because all I needed to do was tag the platform. But I'm also stubborn, and I don't like dying if I have to. And yeah. It's actually okay that we died there, because I can now show you another mechanic that'll come into use later on. And that mechanic is the crouch mechanic. No, I'm not joking. So the way that you do this actually is you just press in the left thumbstick, and what'll happen is your character will crouch. Crouching reduces your presence, and your presence determines how many enemies can actually see you. So enemies can see you if they obviously can physically see you, but also when you do this, you make less noise. See, I ran right in front of that guy, so he's like, what? But we're almost done here. We almost have everything we need. And then we're going to move on. Make sure that doesn't hit you, because that's almost guaranteed a one-shot if you're playing like I am. That being with the Wretch. And Wretches die so fast. It's actually okay if we die. I don't mind. Because we are now done in here, and we can go to the next room. The next set of ruins are the ones I'm worried about, because those are annoying. Okay. Sorry, I had to check a message there for a second. But yeah, like I said, I probably shouldn't have sent the elevator up, but it was just force of habit at this point. So, while we wait, and as we travel back up, there is another thing about this game that I think is weird but kind of fun. And it's that, and it's not something that's going to come up really unless I feel like showing it later or have the means to share it. But you can actually make land squirts explode if you poison. Yes, the strange like big pustule things can actually be poisoned again and explode. It looks so silly. And if I have the capability of showing it later, I will, but only if. Only if. Let's see. As we're going along, I did attend the wedding of 2 antennas. Ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was incredible. I'm sorry, that was so corny. Oh dear God. Alright. I'm sorry about that, y'all. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. So yeah, those giant land squirts and like the smaller ones, you can actually poison them again and they will explode if you do that. It's very ridiculous to look at, but if I have the capability of showing it off, I will. Because, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous looking. Goodbye. Oh wait, also I should point out, you could do it to the small ones too. And if you do it to the small ones, it actually sets off a chain reaction where they all start exploding for no reason. I'm not really sure if you could do it with rot or not, but something to think about, I guess. Okay, we're almost at our destination, which is the ruin-strewn precipice. This is an area that's a little bit more annoying, but only because there's a bunch of bats in there that just really love to get up in your business if you're not careful. But we're gonna try and be careful. In fact, before I even go up there, we're gonna put some knives on. Knives are going to be used to... Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that I actually got the grace. Sometimes I tend to click past things a bit too quick, and I never remember if I actually did the thing or not, so... Yeah, we're going to do that. Make sure that I get my ducks in a row. Otherwise, I'm just... Rude. Usually that little land octopus doesn't hit me. That's kind of funny. So just like with the other mine, you're going to run into miners who are all only vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. But these ones are a little bit unique because if you have any kind of fire attack and you hit them in the back, it actually will make them explode. Which, you know, anything that explodes is funny, so... I probably shouldn't say that while I'm playing as a naked character, should I? Alright. Up the elevator. Those little tiny dudes are called vulgar militiamen. I'm not really sure what makes them vulgar, but... you know. I'm more vulgar than they are. So this game likes to pull a little bit of a tricky on you, and they like to hide upgrade materials in the corner like that. So if you're coming through here on your own, just remember to check the corners, because 9 out of 10 times there's probably something useful in there. Gonna grab a rune arc, which will be handy later. Rude. Extra rude. Dang. We lit up, boys. Alright, it's all good. It's all good. Wait, why am I just running into a wall? I think this just proves that for next time I should probably get a little bit more sleep, but sleep is for the weak. And then I sleep for a week. There are moments of this game that are just long stretches of just traveling, and you know, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I kinda like that. Just lets me turn my brain off sometimes. Just enjoy the atmosphere for what it is. I also want to thank you guys for just being really patient. And I'm trying to actually upgrade my internet so that I can stream at a higher bitrate and quality. So I know this looks a little bit scuffed for now, but we'll see. I also need to get better at just talking directly into my mic instead of trying to do weird stuff all the time. But it's all part of the process of learning, I guess. Okay. Later. Okay. Now we're also going to jump over this guy. He is not important for right now. And we move on. So for this next part, I probably will be using a lot of quit outs, so if I do that, then I'm sorry. I just don't like getting all caught up in a bunch of enemies when I'm trying to do my run. So, there's a ladder here. There is actually a pretty good reason why I do this. It's to make some of the enemies it's ideally to make some of the enemies fall down. Because once they fall down here, I can just run past them. Like this bat right here. That's one less bat to deal with. And there's also going to be another deposit of minerals hidden over here somewhere. Yeah. Grab that. It's okay if we get hit, because if you climb the ladder at a right time, then you get a little bit of iframes for it. Not iframes, but no stagger frames at least, is what I should have said. Okay. Now this is a pretty annoying part, because there is a bat lady over there that's singing in Latin. And if I try to just YOLO and run up that, she's going to poison us, and it's going to be a bad day. And there's also a lot of her baddie kids around who are going to aggro if she aggroes. So what we're going to do is actually summon spirits to take the aggro off of us while we run around and grab things. So let's do it. Also, when it's time to aggro this lady, I'm going to throw a knife at her to try and get her to get off her perch and come down. Alright, come on. Come on. Come on down. Now that she's down, we can run past. And hopefully the wolves hold aggro long enough for us to get through. And we're poisoned. Yeah, ideally she doesn't do that, but if she does, it's not the end of the world. Because We're just here for the upgrade materials. Anything else that we get past that is like window dressing, I guess. Okay, so now we're gonna quit out. Quitting out is a very good strategy if you find yourself surrounded, by the way. If you menu yourself quickly enough and you can pull off a quit out, then you can actually save yourself a lot of grief. The only bad thing about it is that it does not remove status ailments, so if you quit out when you're poisoned, you're going to be poisoned when you come back in. But that's alright. Okay. Since we're poisoned though, and this ladder is a bit risky, heal up, grab on. This guy's probably going to hit us. Yep. And there's a homie over here who has stuff we need. We need it more. We need it more than he does. So we're going to go and just take it. What up? Whoa, he usually doesn't attack here. Usually I'm able to get through here without him attacking. That's kind of unique. That's alright though. We only got a little bit more to go. And I'm gonna see if I can just YOLO. I didn't send it back down, but that's okay. That just means that I have to actually be kind of cautious about how I'm playing. And if I'm just running, then it's not a big issue because these guys ain't gonna catch up. I do have to do the whole distraction game thing again, which not a big fan of, but this time I don't have to grab any items, so there's that at least. You. Come down. Hey, come down here. Alright, I guess she's BMing me right now. She doesn't want to come down. Okay, here she comes. Now to drag all the enemies this way. She's gonna try to poison, and she poisons me. Yeah. Ideally, the wolves stay alive a little longer, but it's okay. Just means I gotta be more cautious. Well. One of these days I want to get really good at a glitchless speedrun of this game because I feel like that would be pretty fun. Sorry, I needed water. Okay. Now, very similarly to what we did before, we need to lure these women down. But thankfully, I don't need to actually throw a knife at them because they're just going to get mad on their own. Just for me being here. Ideally. Okay. Oh. That's a little inconvenient, but it's alright. I wanted to tag the grace that's up here, but we'll just come and get it later when we upgrade our weapon. So we're... Oh. Oops. So we're done here. And now we need to go... Oh, get rid of that. We need to actually go all the way back to Agir Lake. And the reason why is because we're gonna further our adventure in upgrading things. Although it's gonna look a little bit weird. Alright. Now we need to get to Caelid. And we're gonna get to Caelid through the Dragonburnt Ruins. You might be thinking, wait, what? How are you gonna do that? Well, it's quite simple. We're gonna use one of From Software's favorite things in the world. I mean, aside from poison swamps, but, you know. What I'm talking about in this case, actually, are trapped treasure chests. Except we're gonna quit out first so that we don't get eaten by rats. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to use this chest. And it's going to teleport us into a mine that we need to get in, that we need to explore. And I got to confess, this might be my least favorite part of this run. You're going to see why. Okay, we are now in Celia Crystal Tunnel, which is in Caelid. Now what makes this place so awful is an enemy type that's right up there called a pest. Pests are these weird centipede looking dudes that have glaives, and they have a spell that can track and hit you from literally almost anywhere. It's very annoying, but we're gonna try as many times as we need to get through here. Yeah, you see that little like weird victory pose thing he did where he raised his arms up? That was the pest threads. You do not want those hitting you. They are irritating, and they do a lot of damage. And they stagger, so we're gonna try not to get hit by that, but there is a very high probability I'm gonna get hit by this at some point, so if I do, then I'm sorry. Alright, got some smithing stones. Avoid you guys. Hopefully don't get hit by pest threads on the way up. Fantastic. And I'm gonna kick this ladder for shortcut and safety, because if I do this run wrong, then I'm gonna have to redo this whole thing, and I really don't want to do that. There's a talisman and more materials that I want to get in here, so hopefully I can avoid the pests. Whoa. Here's the talisman. There's the upgrade material. Now, I don't mind actually dying here because we need to go back down, but I'm also very stubborn and I like to clown on these pests, so down I go. Yeah, see that? The pest threads are terrible. Aside from the overabundance of poison swamps, it's one of the few things that I question From Software's design decisions on. But that's alright. Because the less complicated part of this run is actually now going to happen. If you can believe it, that whole run that I just did up there was the most annoying part of it. Because usually I die a lot more than I just did. Okay, so now we're going to jump down, Jump down again. Pick these guys up. Oh. There's one hidden behind the shack here. Bad luck that a pest came down here. Yeah. I fully anticipate to die a lot when I do this part of the run, but it's alright. There's one last thing we need to grab, and it's in that shed at the bottom. And then we can get out of here. Oh. Okay, for some reason it didn't look like it was loading. Alright, so we're gonna get inside the shed. And we leave. We are done here. 9 out of 10 times rude. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times when you're running away from enemies, it's actually a good idea to just run. Don't try to dodge roll, just dash and try and put objects between you and them. That's the best way to do it anyway. I also picked up that rock grease because it's a very good weapon buff to have for later. Alright. Welcome to Caelid. I honestly don't really like Caelid very much as an area because it looks kinda nasty and the aesthetics aren't really to my liking, but it's a fun area actually. I just don't really like it aesthetically. It also has a really awesome boss here. One of the shard bearers mentioned in the beginning. Excuse me. So, there is something up here that I want to get, aside from just the golden seed. There is a beetle that will run away from us if we get too close. This guy. And he has an Ash of War that we want. So, if you stand here and you just huck knives at him, you get the Ash of War. There's also a staff here that I want to grab, but yeah, actually, this is great. Let's just get it. It's not the best staff for what we're going to be doing later on, but it's rude. No, the staff isn't rude, but the staff itself is actually just a means for us to get a free glintstone staff of some kind for us to use magic with. Because we're going to be using some magic and we're going to be using some incantations as well, so yeah. I actually like to weave in and out there because they are going to be trying to shoot you in your back as you run. So it's generally recommended that you bob and weave. You gotta embrace them dodgeball tactics, yo. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Okay. Off we go. Yeah. Caelid itself also is just one large poison swamp. That's the other half of the reason why I'm not a big fan, if I'm being completely honest. I have never really been a fan of like poison swamps from games, but they exist for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but they do. Okay, there's a map fragment here, and there is also another golden seed spot down this way. We're going to run and grab it just because. But our true objective, and admittedly another one of my favorite parts of doing this, is the is what I like to call the how to train your dragon part of the run. And you're going to see why I call it that in a second. But for now, there's a church we got to visit because there's a grace there. And it's also where I'm going to probably grind my armor off screen. Because I don't really want to subject you guys to me sitting here grinding. Okay. So we grab this. And then... yeah, we're going to grind this guy later. But for right now, we're just going to get out of here. This is a rotten dragon. I don't say that to be insulting either, by the way. He's literally called Decaying Exites or Echazeeks. I don't know. But either way, we rest or we set in. There are more pests here, so generally I like to run off of the road. It's just so they don't see me or have enough time to react. Reasons for that are, well, you saw what happened in Celia Crystal Tunnel. There's also a grace down here somewhere, but... yeah, there it is. So yeah. That was just an instance of me just looking for the golden trails in the air. Just like Varai told us to in the beginning. And then what we're going to do is move on. But for what is wrong, we move along. Thankfully, not everything is wrong, though. Well, maybe my sense of humor is wrong, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Gonna rest, and we're gonna get back up. Oh yeah, also, I never use these because I don't really need to, but you can actually use those to get different perspectives of the map from, you know, an aerial. It's more like an aerial perspective, or it's more like just looking through a spyglass to see around you. It's neat, but I don't need to do that. Instead, what we're first going to do is hit this almost like, it's not really hidden, but it's not a graveyard you'd go out of your way for normally. And I'm also gonna see if if the game's gonna meme me and see if it's gonna actually try and tag me when I'm grabbing these materials. Because usually there's these weird like T-Rex dogs that reside here in this area. And usually the dogs like to come and get me when I'm doing this, but no dogs today. I mean, that's good, but I was hoping I'd at least get one dog for the memes. Yeah, those are the T-Rex dogs over there that I was talking about. But we made it. There's also a shack up here that sells samurai armor. We're not going to use that for this playthrough, but it does look pretty dope. Instead, like I said, I'm probably going to grind for it off stream, but there is an armor set that is my absolute favorite in this game. Looks stylish as heck. And it has pretty good defensive rating too, so hopefully I'll get it. Like I said, I'll probably do it off stream because I don't want to subject you guys to grinding, and frankly, I don't think that's very fun to watch. So, we're entering the How to Train Your Dragon portion of this particular playthrough, or this particular part of the run, I should say. And I call it that because we're going to do this. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And all you got to do is just lead the dragon over to the statue, because there is a statue back there. Okay. Yeah. You just got to take a leisurely stroll with your dragon bro. You also got to be a little bit careful because he can squish you. Alright. Preferably what you want him to do is to jump in the air and try and fly at you. That's the preferred thing. Come on, bro. Whoa, okay. It's okay, buddy. You don't have to throw a tantrum. Come on. Let's go for a walk. Want to go for walkies? Come on. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. Now we're going to take our walkies this way. And we're going to lead him all the way back here. I like to use this bush as sort of like a measuring spot. So you get him to about that bush, and then you bring him here. And then he breaks the statue. And then you take the upgrade materials, and then you can go. Have a good day. I don't really know why I find that so cute, but I do. I've always really liked doing the little how to train your dragon section of this. It just makes me happy. So then, before we go and actually upgrade everything, I want to make sure that we have everything we need. There is one more item we gotta grab. And it's going to be in an area with a lot more bats again, because bats. There's also a key item we got to grab. So we're going to attack the race. And the item that we're about to grab is one of the best talismans in the game. Because it's basically like a bunch of free level ups when you put it on. You do take more damage when you're wearing it, but that's honestly a very good trade-off. And the armor we're going to get actually kind of negates most of that anyway. So it doesn't bother me all too much to wear it. And in fact, I usually, admittedly, I kind of use it like a crutch, and I shouldn't, but I want to present this to you as if you're picking this up for the first time, this game's kind of pissing you off, and, you know, you just need a little bit of a guiding hand. So, I'm going to jump down here. And there's going to be so enemies in this area scale really high, so everything here can kill you in one hit, and even the rats. And also, oh, where did I end up? Okay, I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot. I just got turned around. And I actually don't mind dying here, but again, I'm too stubborn, so we're going to try and survive and just run out. Oh. Alright, fine. Kill me. And rat food. But what we got there is going to be important for us to be able to not only use our weapon, but also gives us a lot of, like, extra free stats, basically. Because we started out as a wretch. And as a wretch, you'll notice on the left there, all of our attribute points are at 10. That means we can't use anything. Our stats suck. Everything's terrible. The only advantage to this is that the runes needed to level up is so cheap, which is partly the reason why I picked this class. But you'll notice that after I equip this, and actually let me move over just a bit so you can see. But if you look over there on the right now, with that blue, you'll notice that our stats, all of our physical stats, jump up by 5. That's awesome. It does come with a little bit of a drawback in that you'll notice over there our defenses, and is that specifically our damage negation will be dropped by a very significant amount. So just keep that in mind if you choose to use this again. We're going to put it on, and you'll also notice that I can actually use the claymore as long as I hold it in 2 hands. So one-handed, if I try and use this, all of its damage is going to be cut in half. But if I two-hand it, not only can I now use the weapon, but the damage is slightly raised. We're going to fix that later when we level up, actually. But first, I want to check and make sure that I actually have enough stones in order to upgrade everything. And I do. So now, we're going to take our operations and go meet a friend. We got to go back to Liurnia of the Lakes to do that. Start out from here. And we're going to go through these ruins up here. There's a bunch of teleporting magic slinging nobles in here. They are inconsequential to our purposes. They just kind of exist. And here's another one of From South's favorite tropes, the illusory wall. If you run up and hit it, you'll actually dispel the illusion. It's pretty neat. So we're going to rest. And what we're going to do now... Actually, I should upgrade my flask first. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself today as well. Probably doesn't help. Okay. So, now what we're going to do is pop a bunch of runes. Because we need enough to be able to afford the upgrades. Whoop. Sorry. I'm trying to move myself. I didn't mean to do any weird equipment bending there, my bad. Okay. We should have enough now. If we don't, then I'll just pop more, but...
Well, look at you. We don't receive many visitors. I presume you are tarnished? What brings you here?
Oh, you know, adventure and the promise of looking for best waifu.
Oh, pardon me. It's hardly my place to ask, is it? I
don't mind, bro.
E.G., a blacksmith who once served the Carian royals. An old codger who refuses to retire his rusty hammer. So here I am, still quietly plying my trade on this spot. Perhaps you'd like a display? These bones are old, but still able.
Yeah, just make sure you don't smash me, okay, bro?
Oh, watch out there. When I'm absorbed in my smithing, I lose sight of all else. If you come too close, I'm apt to cause you harm. I am, after all, terribly large compared to you, Tarnished. You don't know how hard it is not to break anything while I work.
Fair enough, bro. Okay. So now we're just gonna upgrade our claymore, and it's gonna become the GOAT of our setup. Okay, yeah, I need a bit more rooms, but that's okay.
Something.
Okay. All right. So now we have so now we don't have a fully upgraded weapon, but we have a substantially upgraded weapon. Specifically, we were able with that run to get us a plus 15 claymore. You can do this with any weapon that just uses basic smithing stones, but for this playthrough, I chose to do it with the claymore just because I love this sword and how it looks. It just, it's so nice. Anyway, next episode, I'm going to show you guys my tricks on how to get a lot of extra free runes to level yourself up. Until then, this has been Byte the Robot, and I'll see you all next time.